Chad's friend, and my nemesis, Jamie Stangroom. I learned
Wait. Sorry, I'm ruining this for you. It's intercontinental.
Intercontinental.
Yeah.
So
Intercontinental relating to or traveling between continents.
All right, we're gonna do that. Another round. Hold on. Get the voice right. I need the Daily Show voice. Hold on. With more on this is a man whose hair I've been stealing for the last 12 years via intercontinental telepathy. Chad's friend and my nemesis, Jamie Stangroom.
Jamie, what's up, man?
I'm good, thanks, Chad, my friend, as opposed to Tyler, my nemesis over there.
Yes.
I see what you're doing there, but I've had a bit of a. If people had seen my hair like a year ago, pre-pandemic, I've had a bit of a dramatic change. You know, like many, I couldn't get it chopped for a while, so it was either living a life of blindness, blinded by hair, or sort of brushing it away. So for the first time in like maybe 8 years, my forehead has been exposed. It's receiving vitamin D at last. So
hey, that's good.
Yeah. So my hair's always on the move, always on the change these days. So you've got to keep up, Tyler.
I do. Well, they offered like transcontinental and intercontinental. I'm not sure if I chose the right kind of telepathy, but they were all out of transcontinental when I went to the store. So.
All right, now, Jamie, you don't brag a lot. You don't boast about your past a ton, but I mean, you've had a pretty awesome career. How did you get started, and what are some of the biggest things that you've done?
That I can that's broadcastable.
Yeah.
There's two versions to this story. I guess so. I mean, like a lot of people, I kind of feel like haven't got a career at the moment because obviously, pandemic stuff has had an impact on so many industries. And in the last few years, I kind of pivoted towards live broadcasting at live events that involve international travel and live audiences. So obviously two big no-nos for pandemic life. But I'm from the middle of England, like just outside a small city called Coventry, which is the home of two-tone ska music. So if you know the Specials, Ghost Town, Message to You, Rudy. Ghost Town if you've seen Shaun of the Dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
The music at the beginning, that's the Specials. So it's like reggae, ska music.
Yeah.
That's all Coventry is famous for, to be honest. So there wasn't much around here. So I went to university in London.
Nice.
And did like film and broadcasting and kind of went down more the broadcasting route, radio, and got like a T-boy job at a BBC radio station called 5 Live, which is like a news and sports speech radio station. And worked my way up to like producing and presenting my own sort of mostly music programs and sort of features on a speech radio station. Which was kind of niche for that station at the time. They weren't doing much entertainment broadcasting. And that led to different things across the BBC, outside of the BBC, broadcasting from music events like Glastonbury, which is one of the biggest festivals in Europe. And done, I guess some pretty cool things. And in more recent years, the live events have been doing sports. So kind of a lot of Olympic events, which have all been cancelled of late, but also some YouTubing on the side, although the YouTubing is the main thing at the moment.
How did you get involved with Lucasfilm?
So that was really like a spin-off, if you like. So I had the broadcasting background from the aforementioned BBC stuff. I started a YouTube channel in about 2015, which was there was no plan like moving forward, but in that moment it was about the new Star Wars films. So they had announced obviously The Force Awakens, they'd announced that Luke and Leia and Han, the classic characters, are coming back, but I wanted to know where's low grady Ewok, where's the stormtrooper that bumped his head, where's the actor who played Greedo, the actor who played Jabba's tail, because there was an actor in Jabba's tail, and I drove all the way to Wales to meet him. So I wanted to know where they were. Why aren't they back? So I would go and track them down, do an interview, make an audition tape to try and show J.J. Abrams what he's missing out on, maybe get them back in a future Disney Star Wars film. So that was kind of like the premise of this YouTube channel that I still do to this day in a slightly different form. And it I started it overnight. Really put the first few interviews out, and I put one out with Ahmed Best, who played Jar Jar Binks, and it kind of went a little bit viral, I guess. And because it was the first interview he'd done in a long time since all the prequels backlash, and then it got a bit of attention.
Yeah.
And kind of out of the blue, I got a email from someone at Lucasfilm, and I assumed I'm about to get sued. You know,
that would be my assumption.
I got asked to be one of their correspondents at Star Wars Celebration. So Chad, I can see he's got the 2019 T-shirt on. This would have been, I think, 2016 in London. The year Rogue
because that was the Rogue One year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was one of the roving reporters. Obviously, you had Andy Gutierrez on the main stage with the show, the Star Wars show, and you had Warwick Davis on one of the stages, and I was one of the fillers, really, going around doing, chatting to various fans and various people that had set up stalls there, like cosplaying groups, etc.
Cool.
And and then a few times after that, I did a few sort of UK kind of features for the Star Wars show, and also some articles for StarWars.com. So I've interviewed musicians from my BBC music background who I know are Star Wars fans. So I've interviewed, we mentioned Oasis. I've interviewed Noel Gallagher about Star Wars the Star Wars website, which most Oasis fans found quite surprising, let me tell you.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let me see.
So what made you decide to pursue, Star Wars? Where did the love for Star Wars start?
I guess, my brother who was responsible for me being a Liverpool fan, he denies this, but pretty much the OG generation. He was a couple of years old when Star Wars came out. Yeah. He's my older brother. So therefore I had the hand-me-down toys from him and all of that. So I knew Star Wars before I knew Star Wars. I knew the characters before I'd seen the films from those toys. And my real so it was always there. It was always part of me without me really knowing. But my real exposure to it in a big way, I suppose, was the special editions. That was the first time I went to the cinema, to actually see them on the big screen. And then obviously it wasn't too long after that, the prequels came out, which sort of kept it going. Yeah. So that's where it began, really. And, moving forward, I could never get much Star Wars related commissioned by the BBC, so I had to do it myself.
Right. I think, that makes sense. Yeah.
Cool.
But so it's just always been something that you've kept up with and enjoyed, Star Wars.
Yeah, I was a funny age towards the end of the prequels. I was sort of even at the start, actually, Phantom Menace. I guess I wasn't young enough to absolutely love Jar Jar Binks, but I wasn't old enough to hate him either. So I didn't have a big problem with the prequels at all.
Same.
And I don't have a huge problem with the sequels. I think there's been some great moments. There's been some big missed opportunities as well. So yeah, it's always been there, isn't it? And I think will continue to be there for a long time, it seems.
Yep.
Absolutely. Do you worry about overkill with the amount of series and things coming out for it?
I don't know. I mean, there was talk of that with Solo coming out 6 months or whatever it was after The Last Jedi. Solo is considered a flop in Star Wars terms. But how much of that was actually down to the reaction to The Last Jedi? It did divide the fan base and turned a lot of them off, maybe forever. So I don't know if that's a test of a potential Star Wars fatigue, Star Wars burnout, a genuine one anyway. I think we'll know maybe next year. Because if you look at MCU at the moment on Disney, you've had WandaVision closely followed by Falcon Winter Soldier. I think you've got a month break, and then you've got Loki. At some point, and a lot of that's pandemic really reasons. At some point, we're going to have pretty much back-to-back Star Wars content on Disney Plus. With the Book of Boba, Mandalorian 3, Ahsoka. So I don't think so, to be honest. But we'll probably know in a year's time.
I think as long as the content's good.
As
long as it's great and unique. I think Marvel's figuring that out. You need to give it to weird people who are going to make weird stuff, and people keep watching. So as long as it's fresh and it's not the same old gray thing, the same story coming out every time.
What I've worried about with Star Wars is that it's going to become like Star Trek, where it's just a geek thing, Like, so Star Trek, the whole thing that turns off new generations to it is the people who know everything and like are like scoffing at you that you didn't know that this one character that you watched on an episode of Next Generation is this character who was on 6 episodes of Enterprise and like why that matters. I worry, and Star Wars is already kind of getting that way with the animated series. Like, oh, you don't know who Ahsoka is in Mandalorian? Like, how are you even a fan? I worry about that happening with all of these series and things. That'll happen. And to be fair, so far, like, I'm a guy, I've watched, besides, I'm watching through the Ewoks old show now, which is, it's not great, guys, but I'm doing it.
Okay.
Besides Ewoks and droids, I have seen everything Star Wars. Everything. It's almost shameful to say that, to be honest, because like some of it is just awful, and I just watch it to say I did. For me, it's like am I gonna get to a point where I don't want to watch something anymore on this thing I love?
Yeah, I think you could be right, and I see what you mean as well. But I kind of think, and I kind of hope that they remember that there are a lot of casual Star Wars fans. Mm-hmm. Probably a lot more casual Star Wars fans than there are casual Star Trek fans. Sure. I think.
Oh yeah, it's more pop.
And you need to kind of like, therefore, when you introduce a big character to the more hardcore fans like Ahsoka, you need to do it in a gentle way where it doesn't completely confuse the casual fans. Because you know, Chad, I've mentioned this a few times. I'm actually currently watching the Clone Wars for the first time. Apart from seeing a few clips and stills and like Twitter and that, before the Mandalorian, I'd never seen live action Ahsoka, yet I didn't feel alienated by it. And my brother, who, despite being the one that introduced me to it all, he's very low-key casual Star Wars these days. Yeah. And he does have a crush on Rosario Dawson, so that might have helped. But he did not have a problem with like, hang on, who's this Ahsoka? You know, I thought the Jedi were mostly extinct. You know, what's this about? So I think as long as they don't completely confuse people and remember that not every Star Wars fan is going to go and fill in the gaps in the books and with the, you know, the comics and stuff. You know, as long as they kind of, you know, like Darth Maul in Solo popping up would have been quite confusing for casual fans, surely, because you know, who haven't seen, was it Rebels where he appeared in? Because, you know, last time you saw him, he was chopped in half, falling down a chute.